Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Codeman Movies. Don't forget to grab your alcoholic beverage or any kind of beverage really before we even start talking about movies. This week I am drinking from my favorite brewery in Eau Claire, the Brewing Project. It is an Irish cream cow. It's got chocolate milk stout with milk, sugar, coffee, and natural Irish cream, which is why I'm feeling a little hyper, I think. But anyways, it'll be perfect because I'm going golfing right after this. And I'm just going to hit shit, you know what I'm saying? It's great. Okay. Anyways, guys, hope you're having a great week. My week was all right. Wasn't terrible. You know, life is good. Life is great. I have a couple days off coming soon. That's going to be great. June 10th and 11th. Can't come soon enough. Lollapalooza is just around the corner. Been listening to a lot of music. Everything's good. Everything's great. Everything's grand. So yeah, let's talk about movies. And let's start with this movie here, guys. I went and saw The Northman. Oh, I just spilled. And, you know, it's brownie coffee, so that's not going to sting. It's okay, guys. I got this rug. You can't see this rug. I got a rug from Aldi. It's like, it's 30 bucks. Why not? It does good enough. But I'm going to grab a stain remover. Right here live on this show. Hold on, I'll be back. Not that it really matters, because like I said, this is a cheap carpet. But at the same time, you know, you have stuff, you want to take care of it, guys. If, you know, as best you can. You know, my couch is 100 years old, and there's holes in it. But I do the best I can with it. I have a nice soft blanket over it. So if anyone does come over, not very many people do come over. But if someone does come over, at least it's soft. It looks semi-nice. It's still a comfortable couch, but it was my aunt and uncle's old couch, and they had a dog, 2 kids. I mean, it's been used and abused. I've also moved 157 times since I've had it, so, you know. Anyways, guys, took care of that problem. So yeah, guys, let's start with The Northman. I saw this movie for a second time. As if you've watched other episodes and you've seen my other review of this movie, you know that I really enjoyed this movie. This is my second favorite movie of the year. It is brutal movie, absolutely brutal. It is kind of a slow burn, and there's a lot to it. But I absolutely love this movie. It is so much an adult Lion King, is what I keep telling people, and just describing it to people. It's kind of an adult Lion King. And it's weird, and it's definitely Robert Edgar-y. And of all his movies, though, it feels the least Robert Edgar-y. The first 10-15 minutes of the movie are really what are really Robert Edgar-y. There's the particular scene with Willem Dafoe that just almost doesn't need to be in the movie. I understand why it's in the movie. But yeah, that's really the only thing that's a little too much for me in this movie. Other than that, this movie is fantastic. I will say, watching it a second time, the slow parts of the movie and the parts where they're just kind of going to it, particularly during the first half. The first half where Omelette, I think his name is, Hamlet, it's Hamlet. I'm going to say Hamlet. The scenes where Hamlet is traveling with the slaves, that got a little slow and little boring for me. It wasn't boring, I'm not going to say that. It's just a little slow, and you're waiting for something to happen. And when things do happen, it's fantastic. The one-shot action sequences in this movie are absolutely phenomenal. The final sequence of this movie is absolutely brutal. Yeah, it reminds me of Star Wars and The Lion King, but it does it in such an interesting, brutal, again, just all the fight scenes in this movie are brutal. That's the one thing I can say to everyone about this movie. For random people going in to see this movie, I tell them it's slow. You need to be patient. But enjoy the movie for the beauty of the movie. It is so beautifully shot, so beautifully acted. Just looking at some of the behind-the-scenes things with this movie, but particularly there's a scene at the beginning of the movie that's one shot where they're on a boat and they're rowing, and one of the people in the boat is actually rowing for a period of time, and then the camera kind of goes in that person's spot to get the shot on Alexander Skarsgård. And that person had to jump in the water to get away from the camera so the camera can sit in that spot to film Alexander Skarsgård. And it just sounds like all these kind of exhausting things that were done in the making and filming of this movie that just blow my mind and remind me just how much work filmmaking is and how brutal filmmaking can really be. Just everything about this movie is just absolutely fantastic in my eyes. Again, like I said, it's a bit slow at points. Did I feel the slowness in certain parts? Absolutely. But it's intentional. And it earns it in the sense we go on to figure out these other things. I definitely think there's some scenes that just are a little Robert Edgar-y to be Robert Edgar-y, essentially. And the movie is a lot. This is not a movie just to watch every day. But at the end of the day, guys, I had 3 hours to kill last week. And I was like, well, I might as well go to the movies, and I might as well see this movie again. This is a movie that has big time underperformed at the box office, which is unfortunate because this is a beautiful, this is an artsy movie that people should be going to see because it's a movie they can handle. Whereas another movie that we're going to talk about later is just artsy, and I don't think people can handle it. So, yeah, this is a really great movie, guys. I'm going to stick with my, 8 out of 10 for this one. It is really good. Like I said, there's some slow points in this movie. Some scenes that I just don't feel really need to be in the movie. But other than that, it really is just a fantastic movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself watching this movie. Let's move on to number 2, guys. And I'm really reaching. Guys, so I joined a movie club. A buddy from mine in Chicago, the guy who I went to Lollapalooza with last year and this year, he invited me to this movie group, which is awesome because I love movies and I love talking to other people about movies. So every week we pick out a movie to watch. This week's was Adaptation. I've seen this movie, I want to say back in 2020 during COVID and stuff. I finally watched this movie and I remember just hating it. I thought it was stupid. This is written by Charlie Kaufman. He wrote, I think he wrote Being John Malkovich. He's written that other one from 2020, Never Really There, something like that. I don't like his writing. His movies are always just kind of slow and about nothing, and I'm just not a fan. It's one of those writers that I get it, and it feels like they're beating me over the head with it. Like, they're really trying to get a point across. And I don't like that. I don't like being treated like I'm dumb when watching a movie. And this movie kind of did that for me. This movie's about kind of biography. I don't know. The movie's about Charlie, played by Nicolas Cage, who's trying to adapt a book into a movie, and he's having writer's block, and then he's got a twin, and that twin's amazing, and then Meryl Streep plays the writer of the book that he's trying to adapt, and at the end of the day, again, like I said, this movie is just kind of, it's there, and I don't mind movies just that kind of take place in a person's life kind of thing. I love movies like Locke, or even movies like Mask that came out this last year. Those are fantastic movies. But to me, there just needs to be a little more substance. And to me, there's just not really much here. It's just kind of a movie about Nicolas Cage going through a midlife crisis almost, is what it seems. And it's just blah. So yeah, I really don't enjoy this movie. I just find it, and then the ending is just reaching. It seems like, it's almost like when you're watching there's some arguments with people with superhero movies, how there's there's some conflict, there's little action sequences, and then the end of the movie is the big action sequence with the portal in the sky, blah, 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 blah. That felt like this movie. This movie felt like, okay, we're just watching this life, and then all of a sudden, people are dying and crap, and it's just like, where did that come from? I truly am just bamboozled by where this movie just all of a sudden goes, and it just didn't need to go there. They go. At the end of the day, though, guys, I just do not find this movie very good. I find it very boring. It took me, I think 3 times to watch this movie, honestly. I watched the first hour before work, told myself I was going to come home and watch it, ended up staying later at work than I thought, so I didn't. Watched it the next night for about 10 minutes, and I went, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. So I went to bed, and then I woke up the next morning and finally finished it. Yeah, I'm not impressed by this movie. Yeah, the performances are fantastic. But you have Nicolas Cage, Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper. Are we really that surprised by that? And I guess at this time, maybe it was a little bit more surprising. But still, point is, just this movie, did not enjoy this movie. I don't understand why people like this movie. It's just, eh. We're going to talk a little bit more about this movie, actually, and Charlie Kaufman in particular, later on down the road when I talk about some other movies I saw this week. But yeah, I actually watched movies this week, guys. I'm proud of myself. Next up, guys, I watched Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, I remember watching this show as a kid. I don't remember much about it. It's not one of those shows that have stayed with me into adulthood. When I heard this movie was coming out, I went, oh, this is going to be stupid. And, you know, I didn't know anything about it necessarily going in. I watched this one night because I saw it's only an hour and a half long. So I went, okay, this is a shorter movie, a quick movie that I can talk about. Figured I was kind of going to be trashing it a bit. And yeah, so I watched this movie. I found a lot of similarities to Space Jam: A New Legacy, where there's just a lot of references to other movies in this movie, and it feels like there really is no story. It's just reference, 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 reference. And halfway through this movie, I went, this movie's dumb. I do not enjoy this at all. This is stupid. The story's better than Space Jam: A New Legacy, I'll tell you that. But I found it just stupid. And was shocked after the movie was done, as I'm looking at the Rotten Tomato meter and Metacritic, that this movie has very positive reviews. I YouTubed some of my favorite reviewers. The 2 of them that I usually watch that had reviews up, both of them were very positive on this movie. They found this movie hilarious, found it to be really good. And I'm confused, because I don't know what I saw that was so different, what they saw, but I found this movie just stupid. Literally, it just seems like every other scene is reference, 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 reference. Movie cameo, movie cameo, movie cameo. And that doesn't make a story for me. That's just a bunch of movie cameos to make us go, huh, look at that, I know that. Huh, look at that, I know that. And I don't like that. And it seems that's what this movie is. Now, some people are saying the writing in this movie is actually really good, and people are really enjoying it. I don't see that. I think this is a movie I'm going to rewatch sometime this week, maybe, because I'm just not seeing what people are saying about this movie. I see a really bad movie that's trying to throw all these references at us to make us happy. Just throw things at us. Just go reference, reference, reference. And I don't like that. That's what Space Jam: A New Legacy kind of did. LeBron James and the Bugs Bunny went to Mad Max Fury Road. Go, hey, look, Mad Max Fury Road. Hey, look, The Matrix. So I don't understand what's so different about this movie. I would say the cameos are better in the sense it's not people on a basketball court wearing really bad Halloween costumes. But it's still not good in my eyes. I don't know. I'm kind of really interested to get more people's opinions on this. I want people to watch this just to see what they think. And maybe I'm losing my mind. Like I said, I think I'm going to rewatch this movie because I feel like I missed something. And when I see a movie that people are so on the other side of, I like to sit on it and think about it and try to figure out what the heck I saw that everyone else didn't see, or vice versa. I think you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I found this movie to be absolutely crap. I really did. I truly don't understand why people are so excited about this movie. I really don't. It's confusing to me why people enjoyed this movie so stinking much. And I wasn't on my phone. Part of the problem, maybe I didn't love this movie, is I watched it on my laptop. I took a bath and decided to watch this movie. I just wanted something to watch as I was in the bathtub. So I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't doing anything else. I was just letting my poor, sore, dead, dying body, soak up Epsom salt and relax, essentially. So I don't know. I feel like I was in the right situation, right frame of mind to watch this movie. Maybe I need to watch it on the big screen. That could be it. And I think I'm going to try watching it on the big screen. Because I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what I did. I don't know. But at the end of the day, guys, I didn't think this movie was awful. It's not as bad as Space Jam: A New Legacy. There are some really good jokes in this movie that I did laugh at. I did chuckle at, whereas Space Jam is just a pile of crap. This movie's like a 4 out of 10 for me, though. People are giving this movie like 6, 7 out of 10. They really think this movie's great. And I'm just lost. I really am. I don't get it. I don't get it, but I want to. If that makes any sense. It's like Spider-Man Noir at the end of Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. I don't understand this, but I'm going to. And I'm going to understand what is so good about this movie, because I don't see it. It's just, yeah. Let's continue. Next up, guys, I saw the movie Men. Is this still working? I have a hair in my watch. Yes, it is. I saw the movie Men. Now, last week I was talking about this movie and how I had no clue what this movie was. And I really did not. I went to the theater the next day, though, saw a part, like the last half of the trailer to this movie. Really, all I saw is from director of Ex Machina, which I love Ex Machina. It was my second favorite movie of 2015, behind Mad Max Fury Road. Love Ex Machina. Did not love Annihilation as much. I think that came out in 2018. And just found it to be fine. I own it. I think I've watched it once or twice. It's honestly a movie that I don't need to own. It's just such a weird movie that I just didn't love. So anyways, like I said, guys, 3 days before, 5 days before I even saw this movie, I had no clue what it was. No clue who directed it, who wrote it. I had never heard of it. I just thought it was going to be some weird horror movie. But then I found out Alex Garland directing and wrote it, so I was more excited about it. I went in to the theater yesterday, and the usher said, Cody, I'm interested to see what you think of this movie. It's interesting. I said, okay, interesting. What about it? He goes, I don't think I can say much more. It's just interesting. It's not a movie. I don't know. It's interesting. I went, okay. And I was like, so I love Ex Machina. Really don't like Annihilation. Cody, I don't even know where to begin with that. I went, okay, I'm going to go see this movie, and I'm going to come out and talk to you. So I went into the theater, and first of all, I get into the theater, and there's no trailers playing. I usually get to the theater about 10-15 minutes after the showtime starts, because I don't want to see trailers. So that happened, so I had to go back out, tell them, hey, it's not working. They went in and fixed it. Didn't have to see any trailers, thank God. Movie started. The first half of this movie is really interesting. It's a movie about grief and processing and dealing with grief. And then the movie gets weird. And it gets weird really quick. And from there it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And by the end, the last half hour, 20 minutes to the last half hour, it's just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know that I fully understand this movie. I don't know. I don't get it. And then the last scene of the movie is very on the nose, which I hated. I hated the final 5 minutes of this movie. It was too on the nose, too over the top, too ridiculous. And I get it. We didn't need to see... I don't want to spoil the movie, but there's something that happens, and it happens repeatedly, like 5, 6 times, if not more, honestly. And I was like, okay, I get it. Move on. And it just didn't, and it just kind of ends. So I didn't love the final sequence of this movie, but at the end of the day, I still don't know what's going on. I don't know if everything that happens in this movie is real or not real or what. I was just so confused by this movie and what actually was going on. I need to go on the internet more and just figure out what the hell is going on in this movie. So I got out of the screen of this movie and was just in shock. And I went to go talk to the guy, what's his name? Adam. Adam? I think his name's Adam. Adam at Concessions. And he's like, right? And I'm like, what did I watch? He goes, you know, I don't know. I still don't know. I'm still trying to process it. He goes, it's a movie you need to see again, but I don't want to see it again for a hot minute. I went, same here, which this is another movie, speaking of the last movie, that I want to see again, but I cannot watch this movie. I mean, maybe I'll watch it next week, considering how it did at the box office and how there's only 2 showings at the theater where I'm at. It's a movie I'm probably going to have to see next week if I want to see it in theaters again. And it is a theater movie. It is so beautifully shot, so beautifully acted, so beautifully well made. It's just a jarring movie. And again, I don't know that I understand what happened. I have never felt dumber coming out of a movie and feeling like I don't understand what's going on, but also loving it. I really do enjoy this movie. I just don't know that I understand it fully, and I did not like the ending. And after watching this movie, I just need a palate cleanser. I literally went up after talking about it for a bit. I was like, what is the next movie playing? I just need to watch something. I don't care if it's freaking, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 again. And it was Doctor Strange again. So we're going to talk about Doctor Strange again in a bit here. But, yeah, I just needed a palate cleanser. I needed to watch something else that wasn't... This movie just blew my mind. And it's so weird and interesting. And I just don't know what else to say about this movie. It's just insane. It truly is insane. Something I did not realize till later on last night when watching reviews is that all the men in this movie are played by the same actor. I did not realize that. And knowing that information, I'm even more confused by this movie. I do not understand what happened in this movie. But again, like I said, everything in it I really liked. I love that this movie is dealing with grief. I love movies that don't shy away from grief and show it in a positive light almost. In this movie, this woman's dealing with grief, and she goes on a little trip. She rents out this house in the countryside of England to just have time to herself, take walks, stay away from her phone a little bit, just figure things out. And I love that. I love when movies do that. And this movie is just, from there it goes crazy. And again, I don't know what's real. This is advertised as a horror movie, which there's definitely horror elements to it. I didn't find it to be as horror-y as they're putting it out to be. It's more of a movie dealing with grief. It's a drama, really, at the end of the day for me. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about this movie. I really need to see this movie a second time. As of now, I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10 just because of the ending is way too on the nose. There are moments that there's shots in this movie that I don't understand why they're there. Maybe in a second viewing I will understand it. So that score could change. But as of now, it's at a 7 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie. But it is enjoyable. And it is a beautiful movie. And it handles the subject of grief really well, in my opinion. And that's what I thoroughly, really enjoyed about this movie, but I need to see it again. Boy, what a trip this movie is, though. And I'm not excited necessarily to see this movie again because it did just, took a lot out of me. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that is my review of Men as of now. This could probably change. I don't know. It could get better. It could get worse. I'm not sure yet. Damn computer. Next up, guys, like I said, I went and saw Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness for a third time. I got beer all over the place. Basically, I've been seeing this movie once a week, which is not what I expected after watching this movie the first time. The first time I watched this movie, I really did not enjoy this movie. Second time I watched it, it was better, but I still didn't enjoy it all that much. Third time watching it as a palate cleanser, I enjoyed it more because of the movie I'd watched beforehand. But I still just do not like a lot of things in this movie. I really don't. Yeah, so we come back to Andy Kaufman, and this goes a little bit back to Men in the sense that I was talking to the theater crew, Alex and Melissa, two other workers that work there, and they were talking about how they like those Andy Kaufman movies. They like Wes Anderson. They like those artsy kind of movies. And I just told them, you know, I understand why people like them. It's not my cup of tea. I feel like someone is behind the camera just going, oh, look at me, look at what I can do with a camera. And Men, for example, did a great job of balancing that and showing, hey, this is what I can do with a camera. I'm not in your face about it necessarily until the very end. But this is what you can do with camera. Isn't this cool? Isn't this awesome? Doctor Strange is kind of another movie like that for me. Sam Raimi does a great job of showing you what you can do with special effects, what you can do with a camera. There are some moments that are definitely way too special effects heavy in this movie. At the end of the day, I love what Sam Raimi is doing behind the camera. I love that he's putting his style into this movie. What I don't like is really what they've done with the characters, though. As I talked about in my spoiler review, America Chavez, she just is there to be there, is what it seems like. Rachel McAdams, Christine, really, and she has more to do this time around, but at the end of the day, she's just there to be there. She's just a love interest. Wong is just kind of the damsel in distress in this movie. Wanda, it's just, I don't buy where she has gone. Yeah, there was this post-credit scene at the end of WandaVision, but it didn't set things up the way this movie sets it up, in my eyes. So at the end of the day, I'm really disappointed in this movie. I enjoy aspects of it. This movie's called Multiverse of Madness, and we go into, like, two multiverses, really. We go into the one with the Illuminati, and we go into the one with Sinister Strange, which Sinister Strange doesn't do anything. He just currently has the Darkhold in that multiverse, and that's about it. And then the Illuminati. Why? I just don't understand. That entire portion really doesn't need to be in the movie. It's just there. It's similar to the Deadpool 2 scene where X-Force is created, but they're all taken out right away. It's just a gag. And this movie just feels like, that scene, feels like fan service. It doesn't really need to be there. It shows us, you know, this universe in which they could get the whatever book, Ashanti, I think it's called. The Book of Ashanti, which, yeah, that's needed, but at the end of the day, that entire scene just feels worthless. It's one long, that's like 15, 20 minutes of the movie. And I just didn't feel, even this third time around, that it needed to be in the movie. I really don't. It just seems unneeded, unnecessary. Is it great seeing the horror aspects of it, especially in that scene? Yeah. I love when Wanda's just kind of limping after them, and it feels like The Shining. That's awesome. But for what purpose? They go to get the Book of Ashanti, and that basically is a waste of time. Doctor Strange and Christine are zapped into another universe. Wanda gets America, why did they need to go there? They went to go get the Book of Shanti, but it was not really able to be used. So what's the point? Instead, Doctor Strange goes and gets the Darkhold, and yeah, I want to like this movie more than I do, and I don't hate this movie. It's just, and I think I gave this movie like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I'm gonna stick with what my original Doctor Strange score is after this third time, and say it's a 6 out of 10, because all the elements that are in this movie are really great. I like the zombie Strange up until he's giving a pep talk, which just feels cartoony and weird, which I get. That's Sam Raimi, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the movie in my eyes. And I'm going to say about this movie what a lot of people have said about Iron Man 3. It's a good Shane Black movie, not necessarily the best Marvel movie. And I think this is a good Sam Raimi movie. It's not necessarily a good Doctor Strange movie, not a good Marvel movie. I think there's elements that are very great and very Doctor Strangey. Like that last scene is incredible until they get to the end credit scene, which I walked out before I even saw the end credit scenes again. I don't need to see him again. I don't need to see Charlize Theron going, I'm a person, come with me, and I'm good. I got the eye. I've seen weirder. Like, I don't know. This movie just is frustrating to me. And I like a lot of portions of it, and I don't mind I wouldn't have mind what they did to Wanda if they had built up to it a bit more, I guess. I don't know. I just need to talk to a bunch of people about this movie in spoilers and just get perspectives on it. I kind of started talking to someone in my group about it who really liked this movie. This movie like an 8 out of 10. And I was like, it's fine. I just don't love it. The conversation has gone further than that. I need more of a conversation. But yeah, this movie's fine. I just want it to be more than that, I just want it to be more, But we'll see. What is the next Marvel movie? It's Thor, I think. Thor Love and Thunder, I believe, is the next Marvel movie on the agenda. And I'm excited for that one. I saw the new trailer came up yesterday. I did not watch it. I do not want to watch it. But Taika Waititi did Ragnarok, which I've watched earlier this year, a few weeks ago. I'm excited to watch that one again before watching the new Thor. Yeah. End of the day, though, guys, I don't know. I don't love this movie, and I want to love it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. All right, we have one more movie to talk about today, as far as the ones I've seen anyway. Ex Machina. Came home last night, decided I wanted to watch Ex Machina again. It has actually been quite a while, a couple years since I've watched this movie. And like I said, in 2015, this was my second favorite movie of the year. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I love that this movie is essentially like 3 characters, really is what it is, and a couple other little minor characters. I love how claustrophobic this movie feels. I love, if you can't hear a train, there's a train going by in my town. I'm so sorry, guys. The railroad track's like 5 blocks from my house, which is unfortunate when it comes through in the early morning hours or late at night, which it usually doesn't, but occasionally it happens. Where was I going with this? Anyways, yeah, you hear the train. But Ex Machina. I really do enjoy this movie. I think this movie still holds up. What is it now? 7 years later? 2015? Yeah, 7 years later. I think all the performances in this movie are absolutely fantastic, particularly Oscar Isaac, who at one moment is like a villain, and then the next, he's just weird and awkward, and the next moment, he is just a buddy and a good guy. And you don't know the entire movie, really, what he's about, if he is good, if he's bad, what is going on. And I do love that performance from Oscar Isaac. I just think he did such a great job with it. Alicia Vikander does such a great job as Ava in this movie. What's his character's name? Mad-Eye Moody's son, Brendan Gleeson. No, what's his name? Gleeson. I forget the name of the character he plays. I don't know. I'm gonna call him Jim for now. I forgot. What is it though? That's gonna bug me. Really is. Anyways, he does a great job in this movie. I just love how this movie takes place in this one little space, and it's just kind of like studying humans, and you don't know which human is one that's bullshitting you the entire time, and which one is good, which one's bad, which one what. And then the ending of this movie is just, in particular, so great. Definitely the best ending in an Alex Garland movie. It leaves things open, but it does it in a good way. It's not putting anything in your face necessarily. It's hinting at things, but it's not over in your face the way his last movie that came out this last week, Men, is. So, yeah, this movie is just incredible. Acting, cinematography, the editing, the score. This movie, I realize, doesn't have much of a score. There's just little bits and pieces. There's a lot of this movie that's just kind of quiet. And it is what it would be if you were in this, you know, headquarters mansion place thing. And I don't know, I really do enjoy this movie. It's so interesting, so unique, so different than a lot of movies we've seen in a really good way. Truly fantastic. You know, I love action movies. This is a movie that really doesn't have action sequences in it. I guess the end has some moments of action-y moments, but at the end, this movie's kind of just people talking and just trying to discover what is going on. And I really like that. It's kind of a thriller, mystery, and I so love that about this movie. And you don't necessarily know what's going on, but by the end, you figure it out, and there's a conclusion to it, whereas Men doesn't necessarily have that. But again, I think we're just going to talk about Men next week. I'm going to see the movie a second time. Might go into spoilers next week, because I don't know. The movie blows my mind. This movie blows my mind in a very different way. Such a good movie. Absolutely great performances. Absolutely great writing. Just all around a really great movie. Only negative I have with this movie is kind of the pacing of the movie. There are moments of the movie that just feel like they're kind of there, and they're not really building up to what they could be doing. Feels like some fluff. Alex Garland is kind of another one of those directors that likes to just kind of put in random shots of the movie that I don't think need to be there. And that's when he does get in your face sometimes. Particularly, there's a painting in this movie that he just shows like 6 different shots of. And there's literally a scene where the character's talking about the painting. And you get it. But we still see 4 more shots of this painting. And we don't need to see it 4 different times. We get it. That's just the only minor thing in this movie that I still have to just kind of duck for it, because it does bug me every time I watch this movie. So yeah, this movie's 9 out of 10 for me. So yeah, those are the movies I've watched this week, guys. Still get to watch as much as I'd like. My goal every week is to watch at least 7 movies a week. You know, 1 a day. The way Tom Cruise does it. Doesn't always happen. And speaking of Tom Cruise, I don't have the posters for it because I always forget this for some reason. But this next week's movies that are coming out is Top Gun Maverick. I know a lot of critics and stuff have seen it. Everyone is raving about this movie. This is one of the best movies they have seen in a long ass time. So I am very excited for it. I'm going to watch Top Gun this week sometime. I enjoy Top Gun. I don't love that movie, but it is a movie that if someone's like, I haven't seen Top Gun, I'm like, why? I mean, it's not the greatest movie of all time, but why haven't you seen it? It's Top Gun. Highway to the Danger Zone, mother effer. So yeah, Top Gun is Top Gun Maverick. I'm very excited for it. Very interested to see what this movie is. Can't wait to see all the awesome action sequences that I know are real, not green screen, actually done, practical effects, or not effects, some effects I'm sure are in this movie, but practical stunts, practical flights, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see this movie. Other movie that comes out is Bob's Burgers. I have never seen the TV show. I will eventually go see Bob's Burgers. I don't know if it's going to be this week. We'll see. I like animated shows. I love Family Guy. I love Rick and Morty. I like American Dad. I've watched episodes of South Park. Haven't watched them all. So I do like animated, adult kind of themed shows. I just haven't gotten around to Bob's Burgers. I don't know. I'll see the movie if I like the movie. Maybe I'll watch the show. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But yeah, guys, as far as excitement level for those two movies, Top Gun, Maverick, I'm really excited for. It's 10 out of 10. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the summer at the very least, if not the year. I'm excited for everything Tom Cruise does. I did see the Mission Impossible 7 trailer. I am excited for that one. I just had to see it. I don't want to watch any more after that. I've kind of only been watching the first trailer that trailers have out, the teaser trailers, really. And then I just stop from there, if I can help it. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that new Mission Impossible that comes out next year. That's too long to wait, but it's like a year away from now. Sucks. But yeah, excited for that. Really excited for Top Gun. Bob's Burgers, I'm at like a 5 out of 10 for it. I like comedies. I want there to be more comedies in the theater. Even like comedy romance movies like The Lost City, a movie that I didn't find that particularly great, but a good enough movie. I want movies like that to succeed. I want comedies back in the theater. I want to be in a room with strangers and just laugh with people. Even during the Marvel movies when you're laughing during those little moments, I love that feeling. And I want that with movies. So I am excited for Bob's Burgers in a sense. I'm not overly excited, but I'm definitely going to watch it at some point because it's comedy. And I hope to go, again, I don't know if I can go this week, but maybe I can. And, I might be able to, actually. I don't have a chiropractic appointment. I don't have guitar lessons. I just have a dentist appointment on Monday, and I clean a house. I might be able to go see both. We'll see what happens. Guys, this is how my brain works. It's annoying and it's awful, and don't live in my brain. It sucks. But anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Codeman Movies. What are we at now? Episode 16, 17? I'm almost into the 20s. Because we made another 10, I'd really like to do something to help spice up this channel a little bit. I don't know how exactly I'm going to do that. Maybe have an intro. Maybe do a little bit of editing so you don't actually see me turning on the camera every time. But, yeah. We'll see what I do here. I can't always put a lot of energy into this just because of how much I work and stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm hoping for big plans in the future. I've realized in this last year, guys, just to get a little therapeutic with you, I guess, that my life is not where I'd like it to be. And I need to figure out where I want it to be and how I'm going to do that and how I'm going to make those changes. For the past 6-7 years, I've really wanted to move down south. Towards the end of 2021 is the closest I've ever gotten to actually doing it, and I just didn't. I hope that this year, by the end of this year, I really can finally fulfill this dream and just move somewhere warm all the time and just start fresh, start new, and that's what I really feel like I need to do. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm maybe making plans for that, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm going to take day by day, but slowly figure things out. Slowly figure life out. Yeah. Just a little therapeutic with you, I guess. I don't usually do that because that's not what this is about. We're here to talk about movies, TV shows, just talk entertainment, forget about things for a little bit. So yeah. Anyways, guys, sorry to end that kind of on a little bit more of a down note. Not really a down note. It's just a note. Keep watching those movies, guys. Really excited to talk next week. More movies. Tonight I'm watching Your Name. What's his name? Usaki. I can't remember his name. An anime movie that I've never seen. So I'm excited to watch that with my movie club tonight. Yeah, so I'll have my thoughts on that for you guys next week, including other movies, hopefully including Top Gun. We'll see what happens, maybe even Bob Burgers too. But anyways, guys, I hope you have a great week. Keep watching those movies. Do what makes you happy. have some fun, smile a little bit, because life is short and you got to do that. But anyways, guys, have a good one. We'll see you next time.